The New Orleans Saints have been just okay this year. Not great, not terrible, just okay. But the problem with this team is they become absolutely terrible in Madden because they just run out of cap space. So today, we're gonna do one of the hardest realistic rebuilds in the game, and we're gonna see if we can make them good. But not only do they get expensive, this is a pretty old roster, with a good amount of their starters at or close to 30. With some of their best players well past 30. And we're gonna see if Derek Carr can get it done, but more than likely, we're gonna be finding a new quarterback next year. And this was apparently the realistic rebuild y'all wanted to see. It was the most upvoted realistic rebuild. A lot more people liked non-realistic rebuild suggestions, but I've been wanting to do a realistic one again, so we are doing the Saints. But if y'all want to see another realistic rebuild, let's see if we can get to just 500 likes. We seem to easily destroy that on every video, but I want to set a super easy goal because I want to do another realistic rebuild low-key. So be sure to drop a like if you want to see another one, and if you enjoyed today's video. It takes you like 2 seconds, and it really does help out the channel. And also, once we hit 25K, I got something very, very special planned. So if you want to catch that and make it happen, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because all I do are rebuilds. So if you like rebuilds, you're in the right place. And if you want to see another realistic rebuild, or just if you have a fun rebuild idea, let me know that down below, because if I pick your suggestion, I'll give you a shout out. But that's enough plugging, and let's get into this rebuild. I don't think we're gonna make any trades year one, because I don't personally think this team will in real life, because they're not too far off from being a good team. But man, it looks rough here. They always have their way of, you know, getting around the cap space and just making it not matter, but it's gonna matter here if we can't restructure every contract. We're probably gonna need to add a receiver, probably a running back. Alvin Kamara's older, a few offensive linemen, probably a tight end, definitely a QB, maybe 2 safeties because Matthew and May, neither of them are young, maybe 2 corners even, probably a D lineman unless we can develop like Peyton Turner or Isaiah Foskey or something, probably a D lineman, especially if we can't develop Brian Brzee, or a defensive tackle, probably a linebacker for when Demario Davis retires. We're in for a challenge in this one. I know I've said it a few times, but the more I look at this team, the more I realize this is going to be difficult. So that's enough talking about the team. Let's get into this rebuild, and we'll get to the mid-season point of year one, and we'll see how this team can do in simulation. Okay, well, at the mid-season point of year one, we are 2-5. Not great, to say the least. Worse than this team is in real life by a decent amount, but it is what it is. The Lions are really struggling here too, and the Browns. Some of these records aren't too bad, like Jags at 5-2. This might be one of the better simulations I've seen. The Dolphins are only 3-4 though. The Texans are 0-6, but the Panthers are 4-2. Some of them are pretty realistic though. But anyways, obviously not a great start to the year. Our defense is actually what's struggling here. Our offense is okay, at least, but our defense really sucks. Derek Carr's doing all right, not a great completion percentage, but everything else looks good. Kamara's doing okay. Rashid Shaheed is having a really good year. Trevor Penning, that's realistic, to be fair. 11 sacks allowed at the mid-season, and we are getting like no pressure. That's not realistic. So this might be a rare time where we make a trade at the mid-season, because from experience, for the most part, Trevor Penning is just not it. And he's been terrible in real life. I mean, he got benched, I'm pretty sure. Maybe he got hurt, but I think he got benched, just straight up. So we're gonna send him to the Titans, where that wouldn't be a bad fit at all. We're gonna get a 4th round pick from them. I was thinking about getting a player back, but that probably would have made that too expensive. So we're getting a 4th round pick back for him, and we're gonna move Andres Pete to left tackle. He should be a tackle in real life anyways. I mean, he's awful at guard, and he definitely has more of a tackle build at 6'7", 316. So we'll see what he does, and I guess we'll give Nick Saldiveri a start at guard. I mean, either way, I think this will be better. But we have some re-signings to make here. Oh yeah, we have negative 33 mil in cap. Okay, that's a little bit of a problem. This is why this team is so bad in simulation. Are there even any contracts we can restructure? Does it not let us do it yet? Maybe? Oh no, it does. Would this do anything for us right now, or would it just make it worse? It might just make it worse. worse. This might push it into where we need to re-sign, so we're not going to do anything here. We're going to have to wait, I guess, until the end of the year before we can even re-sign players. So let's just get to the end of the year and we'll bite the bullet on the season and just give up, but we'll see how we can finish. Okay, well, in year number 1, we don't have the best year. I didn't expect to, though, to be fair, as we finished 6-11. The Panthers and Buccaneers finish at 11-6. That's interesting, to say the least. Okay, never mind. This wasn't a good simulation. The Patriots are 12-5, and like I said, the Panthers and Bucks are 11-6. That's interesting. And Derek Carr was not great. I mean, 3,100 yards isn't great. 26 touchdowns is fine. I mean, that would be solid for real life or Madden. That's like, that's fine. 12 picks is a little high, and 55% completion percentage. Not great. Alvin Kamara did get 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4.1 yards per carry. That's a fine season. Rashid Shaheed only 900 yards. I thought he would finish with a lot more than that. He had like 550 or something through 7 games or however many. So he only had like 400 yards in the last 10 games. So it's not super great. 12 touchdowns though. Michael Thomas only 800 yards, only 600 yards for Chris Olave. Maybe we just need a lot more of a pass-heavy offense. I mean, our offense wasn't the problem, but it could have been better. Andres Pete was fine at tackle, a hell of a lot better than Trevor Penning was. Ryan Ramczyk was fine. The interior was pretty solid though. And Demario Davis led the team with 142 tackles, 141 for Werner. Tackles for loss, 15 for Cam Jordan, 14 for Brzee, 11 for Werner, and sacks, 5 from Cam Jordan. How many does he have in real life right now? And 3.5 from Carl Granderson? Let me check real quick. Oh, I guess Cam Jordan doesn't have that many, but Granderson already has 5.5 through like 7 games, or however many he's played. So this is a certified EA moment. In interceptions, 7 for Marshawn Lattimore, 3 for Werner and Davis, 2 for Adebo and Matthew, and 1 for Marcus May. That's a good amount of interceptions. I won't complain about that. But MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. I'm surprised it isn't Bryce Young, Baker Mayfield, and whoever the Falcons quarterback is at 1, 2, and 3, because that's what it feels like in this game sometimes. But Offensive Player of the Year goes to CeeDee Lamb for the NFC. No Saints up there. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. Lattimore at 7, Werner at 8. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Bijan Robinson. No Saints. And Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Devin Witherspoon. Brian Brzee at number 5. So no award wins, obviously. I didn't expect to win any. But now, let's get into the offseason, where this is going to get even harder. But I am confident that we can eventually make this a good team. It's just going to take some work. And to be honest, this is probably going to look like a completely different team by the end of it, because I don't know how many of these players we can afford to keep. Who are they even paying now that I think about it? Well, the Derek Carr contract probably hurts a lot. They're definitely paying some players, though, now that I think about it. But in the Super Bowl, the Cowboys take down the Chiefs 31-28. Interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that. I feel like we see that Super Bowl a lot, though. But for re-signings, it doesn't look too bad. We only have -1 mil right now. That's not terrible. It's obviously not good to be in the negatives, but that's workable. Let's see what we can do. I think we can free up a good amount of money here. Okay, we actually freed up a lot of money in just restructuring. Do teams not have the logic to like restructure? Did they not add that into the game? Did they add restructuring, but they didn't give teams the like knowledge that they can restructure contracts? That wouldn't surprise me at all, but it's stupid if they did it that way. Because I mean, that was easy. I didn't even have to restructure that many of them, and we have 40 mil to work with. So I don't know. This has just been one big Madden simulation moment. But we'll re-sign Cesar Ruiz. Didn't they already re-sign him? So they overpaid the shit out of him. I remember that now. We'll just do this. Make it as expensive as we can. Rashid Shaheed, I definitely want back. We'll go 5 years, 45 mil, and he re-signs. Carl Granderson, they re-signed him too, so I'll have to pay him. There we go. So I mean, really, for the actual players that we have to re-sign that this team hasn't re-signed yet, there isn't much happening here. Isaac Yadams looked pretty good when he's been in though, but I don't even think he's been starting the last couple weeks. I think he should be though. But we'll just let everybody else here go. It's just a lot of depth. So let's see if there's anything we can do in free agency, but honestly, we might just get straight to the draft. We might actually look for a lineman here if there is one though. We'll see. And not really. Not anyone I would trust at left tackle at least. So that might just be something can we address in the draft? We could try to bring Andres Pete back on a 1 year because he was fine. He did all right. There's some good receivers here, though. Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Odell, I guess, Gabe Davis, Curtis Samuel, but we definitely don't need a receiver. That's like the last thing we need. So I think we're good here. Wait, let me see. Did we have any retirements on defense with either Demario Davis or Cam Jordan? Okay, we did. I'm glad I checked. Also, I thought Peyton Turner was there for a contract. What? Am I okay? Maybe he wasn't there? I'm so confused. Maybe it was someone else. I'm losing it, dude. I don't know who was there. I thought I saw Peyton Turner there in re-signings, though. There isn't really a good pass rush here that would make sense. They like their big space eaters for defensive ends. I guess Chandler Jones is almost that, but also I'm good. Definitely not Josh Uche. Jadeveon Clowney isn't big, but he's similar to what they like there. I don't know if I want to do that though. It might just be better to wait for the draft. I think that's what we might do, even though it is kind of a problem right now. Okay, we'll make one move other than Andres Pete. We'll go for Damian Harris because I know he's pretty good in this game a lot of the time. And Alvin Kamara was fine, but he is getting older too. So it's gonna be a problem, running back is, so we might as well try to address it as early as we can. So we'll go for Damian Harris. I mean, he's a little redundant with, why can't I think of his name? The guy they signed from the Lions, who was a Packer at one point. It's something Williams. Jamal Williams. Harris is a little redundant with Jamal Williams, but he's kind of just an upgrade over him right now, so it works out. We'll have a really deep running back group for whatever that's worth. So let's see if we can sign these two players. It looks like we do sign Damian Harris. And does Pete want to sign? Okay, it looks like he finally does. So we get the two players we wanted. Truly elite free agent class. A shitty left tackle and a running back who's like pretty good. Elite group there. But now, let's see what we can do in the draft. We definitely have some holes to fill. Pause. But here in the draft, we pick at number 5. The Commanders pick at number 1, which is interesting. I mean, they're not great in real life, but they've played most teams they've played pretty close. I say most. They're not like the worst bad team ever. You know what I mean? They're like competitive at least, but they end up with the number 1 pick here. They probably went QB or something. Ooh, and with the 5th pick, I thought for sure all of the good QBs would go, but there were like 4 first-round QBs. 2 of them were first to second round talents. The other 2 weren't very good. Peter Metcalf is still available. He doesn't look amazing, but he looks a hell of a lot better than what we're working with at QB. So, think Derek Carr's time is up, even though they are paying him. And I think it's a no-brainer to go with Peter Metcalf out of Arizona, of all colleges. Have they had anyone in the NFL ever QB? I'm sure they have, but I can't think of any. He looks solid, though. He has okay speed, decent strength, great throw power, apparently. His ratings are pretty good. There's nothing he's great at other than medium accuracy. Definitely not much of a runner, it looks like, though. So let's go with Peter Metcalf out of Arizona. Hidden dev, of course. 93 throw power, that's pretty good. 75 speed is good enough. 84 agility, for some reason. I guess we'll take that. He kind of looks like a quarterback, you know what I mean? That face scan just, I don't know. Maybe it reminds me of like Tim Tebow or something. So I don't know if that's great, but either way, we have a 21-year-old quarterback with hidden dev, so he's going to be our new starter. And in fact, let's make him our starter right now. We are going to be trading Derek Carr to the Buccaneers, which honestly, I thought a few years ago he would end up there before they got Tom Brady. So I guess that was a few years ago now. But here he's ending up there anyways. And we are getting a 2nd round pick in return and Alex Magoo because they couldn't afford Derek Carr. Am I just realizing this is interdivision? Maybe. Are we going to do it anyways? Yes. It's not like I have a choice anymore. Oh well. We didn't have a 2nd round pick to begin with though. What did they do with their 2nd round pick? I can't remember. Did they trade up? They probably did. They make some questionable trade ups for sure. I think they traded up for Trevor Penning. I'm pretty sure they gave up a lot to go and get him. And I'm pretty sure they traded up for Marcus Davenport too. Pretty sure. So they make some interesting trade ups. I don't know for sure if that's what they did with this 2nd round pick, but oh well, they did have another one. Oh no, they have the 10th one. So did they like trade that back? Because we got the 22nd from the Buccaneers. I'm confusing myself now. now. What did they do with their pick? I don't know. But we definitely need to think about doing something on this offensive line. D'Angelo Chapman looks okay. He's a really good pass blocker, but a pretty bad run blocker. I guess I've seen worse, though. He's solid strength, good speed. He looks all right. I just really don't like his run blocking. I think we might take him, though, unless Walter Carter looks good. And he's slower and weaker. He has better run blocking, but his run block finesse and power suck, it looks like. I wish I focus scouted him, though. None of the linemen here look all that good, though. Steve Whiting does, actually. He looks pretty good. Cam Vaughn looks solid. Ooh, Gavin Baldwin is really strong. Ooh, damn. Elite strength, change of direction, and jumping. Great acceleration and agility, and then solid speed. His ratings aren't great, but we'll think about him in, I guess, the third round. Let's go with... Here's what we're gonna do. Let's go with D'Angelo Chapman first. I don't think he's great, but I think he might have a dev trait, and I think we could turn him into a good player. He has a high motor, shows good discipline, has a good injury rating, so I'm hoping he'll have a good dev trait, but I don't know. I'm surprised he doesn't have good strength. I mean, it looks better than just solid, but let's go with D'Angelo Chapman. I think he'll only be like a 71 overall or something. Damn, I was gonna say, but I'm hoping for a dev trait, but he doesn't have one. Well, shit, that kind of sucks, but he still might be a good overall. We'll see. And now let's, should we go with Gavin Baldwin? His ratings just don't look good, straight up, but he has elite strength, elite most things. But Clyde Lincoln looks like a good athlete too, and he might be a better overall player. I don't know, we'll take a chance on the better athlete, I guess. So for the last pick I'm gonna show, let's go with Gavin Baldwin out of Arkansas. Really? We're getting unlucky with the dev traits for the linemen here. Linemen usually seem really easy to get dev traits for, as long as they look like a good player. Unfortunately, Baldwin doesn't have one, but I think he'll be a good player, and he should be our starter at left guard, so it could be worse. I mean, I'm assuming it could be worse. He could just be terrible. I don't know. But I think he'll be a good overall, but I'll take probably one more pick, and I'll see y'all for the draft recap. Okay, well, we actually did pretty all right in the draft. Peter Metcalf is a 73. I was hoping you would be like a 74 or something, but that's not bad. I definitely think we can develop him into a true, like, really good QB. I guess the other two, or the other three, or yeah, the other two were both 73s, so either way, we were getting a 73 overall QB, no matter who we took. But one of these guys was like a second to third round talent. I guess they were just barely over the edge. I don't know. Ooh, there were some good players here, though. Emmett Hayden, an 84 overall running back, an 82 overall safety, an 80 overall running back, and it's all safeties and running backs. That's interesting, but our two guard picks were pretty good. I mean, a 72 and a 74. I just really wish, especially Chapman, I wish he had a dev trait, because unless he's really good, we might just end up drafting another tackle. But I mean, they're both good overalls, so I can't complain too much. I did take every pick in this draft. Just some fine backups here. I feel lied to with Matt Stafford. Great name. He looked really good, but he's just a backup pretty much. I thought he would be like a 74 with a hidden dev, but no. And then Darrell Keys in the 6th round, the late 6th, might end up starting at a 71. I mean, we didn't really do much to replace Jordan or Cam Jordan. So, I mean, unless we want to go with like Isaiah Foskey, which we might, he does have a dev trait. But if we don't decide to do that, I mean, Keys definitely could be an option. I guess we have the first round guy out of like Houston that confused everyone. I can't remember his name. We do have him too, but I think he would be like my third option for that spot. I think we would start the other two over him. But anyways, let's get into year 2 of the rebuild and we'll see what the team's looking like. But here's a look at the team heading into year 2 of the rebuild, and we'll have to see what we can get from Peter Metcalf as a rookie. You know, I don't know if he's gonna be amazing or anything. We'll just have to see. You know, being a pretty good overall and playing well are two different things in this game for whatever reason. I'll never understand it. But hopefully Metcalf can do pretty well. And then the O-line, I mean, it's pretty good. It's very young, other than, I guess, Ramczyk, but he's not like super old. He's probably 30. Yeah, 30. Overall, our offense is good. We probably need a tight end, though. And then on defense, we have some holes. I mean, the whole D-line could use an upgrade for sure. We definitely need a number 2 corner and probably a safety this year, because Marcus May isn't getting any younger. Tyrann is older too, so we'll see what happens there. We could even do something crazy like move Tyrann to nickel corner and get another safety. No, we wouldn't do that, but I guess we could. good. And of course, the linebacking core is looking pretty good too. I mean, we only use 2 anyways, or like use 2 heavily at least. So we're fine not having a very good 3, even though Muma and Stafford are like fine. But now, let's get into year 2 of the rebuild, and I will see y'all at the midseason point. Okay, well, at the midseason point of year 2, we are only 2-4 again. If it's still our defense, I am gonna switch the playbook again, but Peter Metcalf isn't doing great. It looks like Jake Haener also came in and threw a pick, apparently. In 2 attempts, he managed to throw a pick. That's great. Alvin Kamara is doing really well. I decided to still start him over Damian Harris. Damian Harris will just be the eventual replacement, I guess. The blocking is okay. The 2 rookies aren't doing great. Ryan Ramczyk has still not allowed a sack, though, this year at least. Is our pressure bad, though? Yeah, kind of is. And we have 4 total interceptions. Is it time for another fun game of trying to find a good playbook? I think it might be, unfortunately, because our defense hasn't been cutting it. Well, we have one of the best pass defenses and like a solid run D, but we've allowed 27.5 points per game. That's not great. Okay, Peter Metcalf has X Factor. We'll take that. He has Freight Train. He's not that much of a runner. I'm gonna change that. I don't know, Bazooka's pretty broken. I don't know if it matters for simulation, but we'll do it. But let's run I guess just the Bills defense. It usually works pretty well, so we'll try that. We'll see what happens. But we're gonna have some re-signings here. Are we gonna have money? A little bit. Oh, but we have some pretty good players here. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to get these guys back if we do restructure contracts. So I'm gonna trade Marcus May away, I think. Yeah, he has no picks this year, only 1 last year. None over the last 2 years in real life for the Saints and then the Jets in 2021. He was really good on the Jets. He hasn't really been the same on the Saints, though. He's been okay. But we're gonna ship him to the Bengals for a 3rd round pick. I mean, I just don't think we're gonna be able to pay him, so we're getting rid of him here. Don't think he would go for that in real life, especially needing a contract, but yeah, I don't want him. And we're gonna have to find out how to get like all of these guys back. I guess we'll start with Pete Werner because he's the cheapest. We'll try 3 years, 19.8 mil, and he does resign. And that's like all we can do. We have 820K left in cap, so we're gonna have to figure it out once again at the end of the year. But maybe cap space will just naturally free up by the end of the year too. Because I mean, really, we're not paying anyone anymore. I mean, I guess we have the cap penalty from Derek Carr, but other than that, this team shouldn't be too expensive anymore. Well, I guess we are paying like all of these guys, but still. So I don't know, we'll figure it out at the end of the year. So let's get to the end of the year and we will see how this team finishes. Okay, well, in year 2, we finish 8-9 and we don't make the playoffs once again. Now, I looked over our season stats a little bit and they're interesting. Peter Metcalf wasn't great, but he was like fine. I doubt he'll win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I can't remember what team those other 2 QBs went to, but either way, I don't know if this is good enough to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, even if the other 2 QBs towards the top didn't go to NFC team, but I guess we'll see. Alvin Kamara was really good. 1,200 yards, 5.1 per carry, 10 touchdowns. Even Damian Harris, 500 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry. And we had 2 1,000-yard receivers, Michael Thomas just over 1,000 and Chris Olave just over 1,000 also. Rashid Shaheed was fine. Juwan Johnson was okay. The blocking wasn't bad. The left side of our line definitely wasn't great, but Ryan Ramczyk and Eric McCoy were both very good. And then on defense, Demario Davis, 119 tackles, led the team, tackles for loss. It looks like our defense wasn't on the field much. 9 for Shepard, 8 for Granderson, Brzee, and Saunders. In sacks, 7.5 for Granderson led the team. That's not bad, but you don't really want 7.5 leading your team. But it's like a fine amount. 4 for Foskey, that's pretty terrible. 2.5 for Brzee. But interceptions, Marshawn Lattimore is a stud in this game. 5 picks this year, 2 for Adebo and Ronnie Harrison, who I just stepped out of free agency after we traded Marcus May, and then 1 for a few players. So as many problems as this defense has, it definitely does get interceptions. We'll take that. And yearly awards, MVP goes to Dak Prescott. I don't want to look at that. Offensive Player of the Year goes to CeeDee Lamb. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Vita Vea. That's different. Kind of cool. Better than seeing the same 3 always up there. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Joshua Hansen, barely beating Peter Metcalf. But I guess it doesn't really matter. Metcalf already has X Factor factor. So it would have been good XP, but that's about it. And then defensive rookie of the year goes to Boogie McCoy. That's a fire name. That is like the perfect football player name. But no Saints up here, unfortunately. Unsurprisingly, our defense did actually get better through the second half of the year after we switched our playbook, and our offense was number 7 for points per game. So I don't know, we went, I guess, 6-5 in the second half of the year, which isn't like amazing, but if we have a winning record for a full season, we could be a playoff team. We'll see. So now let's get into the offseason, and hopefully there's some good free agents this year. Hopefully we can afford free agents, if there are some. And in the Super Bowl, the Cowboys are in it again. I can't remember, did they win it against the Chiefs last year, or were they just in it? Either way, they win this one 28-27 against the Dolphins, because of course they do. The Dolphins are actually kind of rare to see in the Super Bowl. Normally they suck in simulation, but they're pretty good here. Interesting to see. But now for the rest of the players that we're gonna have to re-sign. We're still kind of broke. I mean, more money did free up. We have 17 mil now, but I guess we'll see again. Can we restructure any contracts? And did we have any retirements? Demario Davis still hasn't retired, which we will definitely take, but it's surprising. But let's see what we can do. Okay, well, we freed up a good amount of cap once again, and we should be able to bring a good amount of these guys back. The question is, which ones do we want back? We will pick up the 5th year for Chris Olave. I mean, that's expensive, but it's fine. Paulson Adebo, how's he been? I can't remember. If he was interested, then sure, but he does have a good amount of picks, and that was a lot of pass deflections. Low-key, he's been pretty good. How about 4 years, 22 mil? That's not very expensive, and he does take it. That's really cheap. And then Michael Thomas will offer him 3 years, 42 mil. He re-signs. Tyrann Mathieu will offer him 2 years, 25 mil. He re-signs. And I think that's it. We don't really need Juwan Johnson back. I mean, hopefully there's a good tight end available in free agency, but speaking of that, let's see who is available in free agency. There aren't great players here necessarily. I mean, there is Nick Chubb, which would be kind of nice, but we're already paying like 3 running backs, and they're doing well enough, so we're not really going to mess with him. We have David Njoku here. We could go for a tackle like Taylor Decker, Deion Dawkins, but we need pass rush, and there isn't a young guy here, but Zadarius Smith is here. Ooh, and Khalil Mack. You know, we had Khalil Mack in the last video I did, and I think he won 2 Defensive Player of the Years, at least 1. It might have been 2, I don't know. But how hard would it be to get him? We can't get him. The Bears have a max offer or whatever, max interest offer, so that's not gonna happen. How about Zadarius Smith, though? Another older guy, but he is also pretty good, and it looks like he does have some teams interested in him too. The Texans and Giants, so I don't think we're gonna get him either. So what are we gonna do? I mean, I did focus scout defensive end, but a lot of the time rookies don't work out as well as established players in this game, which is stupid, but it's how it is. And we do still need a corner. I guess we'll go for Azul Douglas. He's the best corner available who's actually interested in the team. So we're definitely spending a little bit this free agent period just because I want the team to be better. I want a winning record, believe it or not. I just really wish there was a pass rusher we could get. And unfortunately, the Titans are interested in David Njoku, so I don't know if we can even get him. This is just overall kind of tough. I guess we can re-sign Juwan Johnson on like a 1-year deal if he wants to come back. We don't throw to tight end much anyways. So another very light free agent class. But again, we of course don't have very much money, but Rasul Douglas and Juwan Johnson, we'll see if we can get these 2 back, or get Johnson, or get Douglas and bring Johnson back. But it looks like we do sign Rasul Douglas, which is kind of cool, and Juwan Johnson does sign. So, you know, we have a well-rounded team. We're just lacking superstar talent right now, other than I guess Marshawn Lattimore and maybe Demario Davis, because he still plays pretty well. But now let's get into the draft, and we will definitely address this defensive line. Okay, and you know what? I might do something a little goofy here. I don't even know if this is gonna matter, but Alvin Kamara is set to make 22 million, or more than 22 million, but we can save 22 million from cutting Alvin Alvin Kamara this year. Now, I checked, and apparently he isn't interested in the team, but, I mean, either way, that's a lot of money to free up, and even if we can't get him back, we have Damian Harris, who does pretty well in this game a lot of the time. I wish I did that earlier, though, because we could have maybe gotten Nick Chubb for, like, half of what we were paying Alvin Kamara, but we'll definitely try to bring Kamara back, and now we have a little more money. We have 20 mil to work with. An interior D-line is probably, like, our biggest problem right now, and Osa Odighizuwa's just chilling here, so we might go for him, I guess, because we are desperate for interior D-line. And we'll still have about 9 mil left over. There just isn't a good pass rusher left, though, unfortunately. Actually, ooh, Emmanuel Ogbah's kind of cracked in this game. I forgot about that. But if we go neutral for Odighizuwa, we'll still have the lead. In neutral for Ogbah, the Bucks have the lead for him. I don't know if we can get him. I'm trying to do some crafty shit here, and it's not really working out, but it's close to working out. It's like right on the verge of working out really well. I mean, if we get Odighizuwa, we won't need Nathan Shepard anymore. He's only a 69 overall now. We'll just cut him. So we could try very player friendly for Ogbah. I don't know about a 3-year deal for like maybe a good player for us. I don't even know if he'll take it, but we might as well try, you know what I mean? So now let's see if we can get Alvin Kamara back and Osa Odighizuwa and Emmanuel Ogbah. Okay, so Ogbah signs. Honestly, I kind of doubt he signed with us, but let's see. He did. Okay, we're in business now. I mean, a 79 overall 31-year-old isn't great, but like he's been playing well. Y'all saw it. Like if we can get all 3 of these guys for just what we were paying Alvin Kamara before, that's pretty huge. But now let's see if these 2 do sign. Oh, we're out of simulations for the week. Damn it. All right, let's simulate a week and we'll see what happens. I was about to be done with free agency, but we might add 2 more big pieces to the team. We already added 1. Okay, and it looks like Odighizuwa does sign, but Kamara isn't signing for some reason. Okay, he finally does, thankfully. So we get 5 pretty solid players, or I guess we add 3 solid players and we bring back 2 pretty good players too. One better than the other in Kamara. So, hey, all things considered, that was a pretty good free agent class, a pretty old free agent class, but pretty good. But here in the draft, the Cardinals have the number 1 pick. At number 2 is the other worst team in Madden, I would say, the Browns. The other team that gets very broke and doesn't know how to get out of it, like we kind of have here, thankfully. But we pick at number 12. What did we do with our 2nd round pick this year? Am I just stupid? Am I like Alzheimering this shit super hard? Am I trading the 2nd round picks? I don't think so. I don't know. What did the Saints do with all their 2nd rounders? Maybe they were involved in like trade ups with like Trevor Penning, and I don't know. I can't think of any trades they've made because they didn't trade for Derek Carr. They just signed him, right? I don't know. Whatever. In the draft, I would say our biggest need right now is probably safety. I mean, we could maybe just go and re-sign like Ronnie Harrison because he was pretty decent, but we might as well try to draft a good one. If not, we could go like offensive line maybe, or tight end maybe, if there's a good enough looking one. But let's see who's available. Ooh, Cameron McIntosh. How fast are you? Pretty fast. He's not very strong though. I can't tell if he's good because I didn't scout him, so I don't know. We don't really throw to tight ends anyways. We have enough weapons. Steven Pierman looks pretty good. Good strength, tackle. Andrew Hewitt also looks decent. I don't know. We just drafted tackle, though, as much as I didn't like our tackle pick. Ooh, Austin Thomas looks pretty good. We might go for him. Never mind. We don't have a 2nd round pick. I forgot. We could also go pass rush, but ooh, oh my God. Dakota Bennett. His ratings aren't that good other than the A finesse moves, but that combine, a 4.57, 33 bench reps, 36.3 vertical. I guess he's only 250 pounds, but still. A 10-10 broad jump. He has elite speed, jumping, acceleration, great change of direction and agility, good strength. Is he actually a good player, though, is the question. I don't know, because he doesn't have good block shedding and he doesn't have great pursuit, but he's such a freak athlete. If we're gonna get him, though, I'm starting him day 1 over Carl Granderson, because if we don't, he just won't develop. I feel like taking a chance there, because if we don't get a safety, we can just go and sign Ronnie Harrison. Like, Like, that's the worst case scenario there. And it's safety. Like, ooh, wait, Zaire Newman. Okay, maybe he's not good, but that combine is also pretty good. Well, at least his 40 and his bench. He's a good run defender, but All right, let's take a chance on Dakota Bennett. He is very interesting. I don't even know if he's good. I've never taken a player like this. He lacks discipline, and he doesn't have great injury. Oh, he's so gonna have normal dev. Maybe this isn't a good idea then. He's such a freak athlete, though. If he was good, though, he probably would have been taken by now. Let's not do it. I talked myself out of it. He would definitely have normal dev. I think we might trade back because there are a lot of safeties that we could probably get like a similar value player later in the first round. So let's see if we can trade back for decent value because we are missing a second round pick, obviously. Is there going to be a fair trade back or is it going to be, oh, we'll trade down to 28 for a 7th round pick next year? You see, like I'm not trading down 6 spots in the first round for a 4 and then a 5 and a 6 or a 5 and a 7 next year. I hate this game. You know, this isn't great, but I guess we can trade down to 24 as long as, I mean, it would give us a 2nd. That's not great, but I don't care. I want a 2nd round pick. So now let's see what safeties are still available, and we'll have to check do I even want to check the D lineman? I know now because I didn't take him, he's going to be a monster, but if we did take him, he probably would have had normal dev. So I don't know. There's no winning. This safety was super interesting though, Connor McKinney. He's not that strong. He's not that fast either, but he has A awareness. He also has B zone coverage as a hybrid safety, which I've never really seen unless they're like a monster or something. He's also 6 foot 224. He's thick, so you would think he would be strong. I'm spending way too much time on this first round pick. I'm fascinated by McKinney, so let's take him. He does have hidden dev, which I can never draft a safety with hidden dev, so we'll take it. And now in the 2nd round, this will probably be the last pick I show because I spent so long on the first one. I don't even know what I want here. Like, we're kind of good now. I mean, we definitely still have some problems on the roster, but not many that we can fill that well through the draft. That would be more of a free agency thing. Ooh, is this the guard I wanted, Austin Thomas? I think it is. He's still available, which again, I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but yeah, fuck it. I'm sure we can use him somewhere. Let's go with Austin Thomas. Only 21 years old, out of Miami. Sounds good to me. Hidden dev, we basically got him for free because I probably would have taken that one safety we got at number 12 either way, or at least a safety. That probably would have been similar, so pretty good pick there. And now I'll make a few more and we'll see what we can come up with. Hopefully we ended up with some good players. But here's how we did in the draft. We did pretty well once again. Connor McKinney is a 75 overall. That's about what I expected. Has really good ratings. Not the best tackle in the world, but not bad. Everything else looks pretty good. Austin Thomas is a 74 overall. He's looking pretty good. I don't even know if he's gonna start. I mean, maybe because he does have a dev trait, but we'll just have to see. And Johnny Ferguson, did I show me picking him? I don't think I did, but I might start him at tight end, honestly. He's 272 pounds, goddamn, and he's not even that good of a blocker, so I don't really know why he's that big, but it is what it is. He looks like a pretty good tight end, though. And I took these 2 picks. They weren't great, but, well, I think Ross has a dev trait, Justin Ross, but the CPU low-key killed it. Jamal Wilson, they picked a 73 overall receiver here. He's very slow, but has good possession ability. I checked and he's like a 75 overall tight end. Not that I want to move him there, but I mean, we could if we didn't draft Ferguson. And then John Drummond, or whatever that last name is. I see it in the draft classes a lot. I don't know if there's an NFL player with that last name, but he was like a 72 overall middle linebacker and he's a 74 outside linebacker. He looks really good, so I'm happy with that pick. And I didn't check these guys. Do they have a dev trait? No, Levy doesn't, but he's still not bad. And then Massey, no dev trait for him, but again, not bad. He's pretty quick too with 94 speed, so shit, I should just let the CPU do the rest of my drafts. I mean, most of the time when I do that, they pick like 62 overalls, but this time they definitely didn't. So we definitely added some really good players heading into year number 3. But here's a look at the team heading heading into year number 3 of the rebuild. We've definitely done pretty well in the draft. I mean, we have 4 starters on offense from the last 2 drafts, and all of them are looking pretty good. And hopefully Peter Metcalf can develop to like the mid-80s this year. We'll see. Definitely huge that he has X Factor though. And then on defense, also I guess only a couple starters here from us drafting with Drummond and McKinney, but I put McKinney at free safety and Matthew at strong safety. They were just better scheme fits there, I guess, which is weird because McKinney's like 225 pounds and Matthew's only like 190. Yeah, 190, but it just worked out better that way. I don't know why. But we're up to an 83 overall now, which isn't great, but it's not bad, and we should develop more throughout the year. So with that, let's get to the midseason point of year number 3, and we'll see how the team is doing. Okay, well, we're doing better technically, I guess. We're 3-4. God, our offense sucks this year. We just can't be good on both sides of the ball for whatever reason. Is our offensive line struggling? Is our QB struggling? Both, maybe? But yeah, I mean, Peter Metcalf is doing well. Alvin Kamara, not so much. We could think about trying Damian Harris. I mean, 3.9 yards per carry isn't great. I guess they both have 3.9 though, but sometimes it changes. If like you move the backup to the starter spot, they might do better. And we might put Gavin Baldwin at right guard over Cesar Ruiz because he sucks here. I didn't understand that contract in real life. I don't think he's a very good player. I mean, he could be. He's just like whatever though. And we have 0 pressure. Emmanuel Ogbah is going from what, 12.5 sacks last year, 13, and then 12.5 the year before, to half a sack this year. I love this game. It's great. It's very well made. What can I say? And Carl Granderson has 1. Cool. So maybe it is our defense. I thought it was our offense. I mean, we're not scoring, but we're also getting 0 pressure. So that's not exactly a recipe for success, but there's not a lot I can do about the pass rush. I mean, we're just gonna have to eat it, I guess, and hope that there is someone available in free agency. That's really all we can do. Oh, but on a positive note, I guess, I don't know why I went here. I meant to go to the lineup. McKinney has superstar dev, which is kind of cool. I figured he would because he was developing a lot. Should be like an 80-something-ish overall by the end of the year, so we'll take that. That's pretty good. But I guess all we can do now is get to the end of the year. We'll have some re-signings here, actually. I almost forgot. Who's gonna be here? Oh, we have no money. Okay, well, I am expecting Demario Davis to finally retire, so I don't think we'll have to worry about that one. And Rasul Douglas, I guess we can re-sign at the end of the year. I mean, we'll have to re-sign him at the end of the year. We only have $870K to work with, or $790K, unless he wants to come back on like a super cheap deal. I don't know. But anyways, let's get to the end of the year, and we'll just hope and pray this team figures itself out. I figured this one would take a while, but I thought we would be doing a little better right now in simulation at least. Bruh, I was gonna make the question of the day, who do you think is gonna get traded at the deadline? But I mean, I think it's gonna be over by the time this video comes out, so I can't really do that. But there have been some interesting trades. As a Seahawks fan, I don't like the Leonard Williams trade. I mean, that's too much to give up for an older D lineman who, I mean, he could be good, but he's in the last year of his deal. It's like a half-year rental, giving up a second and a fifth. I don't like it. And the Bears got Montez Sweat for a second-round pick, who's younger, is coming up with a contract, but he's younger, and probably better right now, I would say. I guess it's technically more value, because the Bears' second-round pick is probably going to be a lot better than the Seahawks' second-round pick, but I don't know. Also, kind of weird that the Commanders traded Montez Sweat. I mean, I know they're probably not going to be able to pay both him and Chase Young, but I would find a way to figure that out and just fire the coaches, honestly. Because those are 2 young, really good players that, I mean, it's going to be really hard to replace. So, I don't know, man. But either way, here we are at the end of year number 3. We have a decent amount of upgrades. Metcalf must not have finished very well. I mean, he's only up to an 82. I thought he would be up to like an 85 or 86 because he's only 22 years old still. But in year number 3, we finished 8-9, once again missing the playoffs. We were close to having a winning record for the first time in this rebuild, but we lost by a field goal to the Bills, and we could only put up 13 goddamn points. So it might be a time for an offensive playbook change. Yeah, definitely. Peter Metcalf, we just need to pass more, I think, because he was good, just not many attempts. 3,400 yards, 468 attempts, 25 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Not a great completion percentage, but everything else was pretty great. I mean, imagine this is like 4,200 yards, maybe like 32 touchdowns and I guess 5 interceptions, that would be pretty good if we just passed it a little more. And Alvin Kamara, I didn't end up benching him, and maybe it was for the best because Damian Harris only ended up with 3.6 yards per carry, but again, maybe he would have done better if he was the starter. Did have 2 fumbles though as the backup. That's not great, but only 3.9 yards per carry for Kamara. Did hit 1,000 yards, but that's not necessarily impressive. Chris Olave, 1,000 yards, only 5 touchdowns though. Michael Thomas and Rashid Shaheed didn't do great. Johnny Ferguson as a rookie was fine, and then blocking, Chapman was like fine. I've seen a lot worse from a tackle. Same with Ramczyk. Thomas, Baldwin, and McCoy were all pretty good, especially Thomas and McCoy. Both of them did really well. And Demario Davis led the team with 116 tackles. Hopefully he comes back, but more than likely he's going to retire. Tackles for loss, 16 for Granderson, 14 for Odigizua, 13 for Brzee, and sacks, 6 from Odigizua. I'm glad we got him at least. 5.5 for Granderson and Ogba. That's not great. And 5 for Brzee. That's pretty good. We've gotten pretty good interior pressure. It's just our edge group. Or at least this year we got pretty good interior pressure. And it's not great. It's just like solid. And then interceptions, 3 for Lattimore and Adebo, 2 for Drummond as a rookie, Davis and Werner, and then 1 for McKinney as a rookie and Matthew. I wish McKinney had a better year. I don't think that's going to be anywhere near good enough for Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I guess you never know. But let's check out yearly awards. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. Big surprise. It's better than Dak winning it. Hey, you know what? I will say, I'm noticing a lack of division rivals dominating awards in this rebuild. Maybe it's just because our division sucks, but, you know, I've had the theory lately. I sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist or something out here. Like, I have the big theory that division rivals just do better when you're using a team, you know what I mean? Like, if we're using the Seahawks or something, it'll make the 49ers and Rams and Cardinals players do better in simulation, but I'm not seeing that here. I mean, in the last rebuild I did, it was like dominated by division rivals. Lamar like swept MVP and it was weird. But Offensive Player of the Year goes to Dak Prescott. That's kind of surprising. Normally more rushing QBs win it if a quarterback does win it. And Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. We have Montez Sweat up there, who I'm going to have to trade in my rosters. Zadarius Smith up there, who I wanted, of course, and Khalil Mack, who I wanted, going back to the Bears. I don't know why the Bears traded for somebody. Do they think they can like make a playoff push this year? I mean, I like the trade on paper. It's just weird for a bad team to, you know, trade for a player at the midseason, especially when they're probably going to be trading Jalen Johnson, which is fucking stupid. They should just pay him, but apparently they don't want to for some reason, even though he's been a monster this year, which is especially hard to do because they've had 0 pass rush. So whatever team gets him, as long as he's a good scheme fit, they're getting a stud. But Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Don Toll here. Johnny Ferguson at number 4. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Deontay Bogle on the Buccaneers. There's a division rival winning an award, but it's fine. John Drummond at number 3. Connor McKinney all the way down at number 9. That's not great. So again, another disappointing year, and it's going to be another game of trying to find a good playbook. I love this game. Well, are we just going to go with the Chiefs offense? Is that what we're going to do? I mean, probably. Yeah, they were the best offense this year. They're like always the best offense. They obviously get carried by Patrick Mahomes, but, you know, it's still a good playbook like 80% of the time. Sometimes it's complete shit, but sometimes it's good. And it looks like we have a decent amount of upgrades here at least. McKinney's up to an 80. Ferguson's going to be a 75. Lattimore, maybe a 92? No, just a 91. But a 92 with morale, we'll take it, I guess. He did get X Factor, by the way, which I don't think I even mentioned that, but it's definitely nice. We'll take it. But hopefully we can free some money up because I want to go crazy in free agency for the final year of the rebuild because we definitely need some additions on this team. At the end of the day, even though we didn't do great, we are only an 84 overall, which isn't the worst, but it's probably like 10th-ish in the NFL, which should be good enough to make the playoffs, but it's not. Yeah, I would say 10th-ish is a pretty good guess. Maybe a little lower, maybe like 12th. I don't know. It was probably about right. But anyways, let's get into the offseason, and we'll just hope we can find a way to add some good players. We normally do, no matter what, so we'll see what we can do. I should do a question of the day, though. What would be a good question of the day? I think I've had this one before, but, like, you know, obviously things have changed since the last time I've asked it. Who do you think is the best team in the NFL right now? I would say probably the Eagles, because they have the whole tush-push thing that's, like, unstoppable. And I don't know why people complain about it. Like, it's just the Eagles thing that works really well, and it's not cheating in any way. It's like complaining about, oh, the Dolphins have Tyreek Hill. He's too fast. We can't keep up with him. They should kick him out of the league. Like, just find a way to stop him. Just find a way to stop the tush push. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. But let me know down below who you think is the best team in the NFL. Again, I think the Eagles, it'll probably be the 49ers by the end of the year again. They'll probably bounce back. They'll probably make a trade today for they'll probably trade for Jalen Johnson and it'll turn their season around. I don't know. But I don't know. In the Super Bowl, that's a weird one. The Vikings take down the Dolphins 28-21. I don't think I've ever seen the Vikings win a Super Bowl. I mean, maybe once, but that's rare. They normally suck in simulation. And I kind of wonder who their QB is going to be next year, because, I mean, they're probably not going to re-sign Kirk after he tore his Achilles, but maybe? I mean, he's putting up good numbers. He always puts up good numbers. But anyways, they win the Super Bowl here somehow, probably an 82 overall, because Madden simulation. Now, I think I saw they were like an 85 or something, which isn't great, but it's better than like the Panthers winning it at dead ass like an 80. But for re-signings, we unfortunately have negative 11 mil, but we should be able to get out of it at least mostly. Demario Davis still has not retired at 37 years old. My brother in Christ, I think it's about time to hang him up. I mean, he still hasn't slowed down in real life. He still looked like a stud. I have the hot take that I think he's the borderline the best linebacker in the NFL, and he still looks good this year, but he's getting up there for sure. Oh god, can we restructure anybody? I hope so. We should be able to. Maybe not. Camaro, we should be able to. Okay, yeah, but that's only 2 mil. We might be cooked, unfortunately. We can't really restructure anyone anymore. I don't know. I'll see what I can do. We'll figure something out. Okay, well, we only have 10 mil to work with after I restructured everybody. This team is expensive. Okay, maybe I did mean it when I say this is the hardest rebuild, because we still have some problems and we have no money left. Rasul Douglas hasn't been very good. We're gonna let him go. And Demario Davis is just straight up too expensive, which is surprising. Normally linebackers don't ask that much, but obviously he's been good, but we just straight up can't afford him. He wants 11 mil and he's not like super interested. We can only pay him 10.1, so that's not gonna work. I mean, I guess we can try. He doesn't take it, shocker. We could tag him, but I do want to see who's gonna be available in free agency. Worst case scenario, we can maybe get him back, but that's just gonna be tough. So we'll see what we can do in free agency. We might look at a trade though. We might have to. But we are gonna be trading Michael Thomas to the Giants for a 3rd round pick. This isn't much of a cap clearance, honestly, but you know, Michael Thomas, he's definitely getting older. He's like 33 here. Hasn't really done much for us, so that definitely, I think it was time there, unfortunately. But it's not a good free agent class anyways. I mean, there are a couple pretty good players, but nobody we can afford, or even like close to afford. So I think we're gonna have to take the L there, unfortunately. We might end up having to go to a year 5. I guess we'll just see. Is there anyone we can cut? I mean, Ryan Ramczyk would save a ton of money, but I mean, like, he's very important. What about Cesar Ruiz? We don't really need him anymore. We could trade him though. He's only 27 and a decent overall. The Chargers straight up don't have a right guard on the roster. How about a 3rd round pick? Sure, we're losing a little bit of the realism, but it is what it is. Who cares? What happened to the Chargers? They also don't have a running back. They have a 63 overall there. But we're gonna trade Damian Harris to the Rams for another 3rd round pick. We're collecting 3rd round picks like Infinity Stones or something. That's an old reference. That's like 6 years old now, but whatever. Fuck it, we ball. And I think that's all we're gonna do, because the rest of these expensive guys are starters. So we could look at a corner, but I mean, Paulson Adebo's been solid, and drafting a slot corner wouldn't be too bad. Pass rush is still definitely a big need. We kind of need a linebacker now, but Werner and Drummond would really be the only two getting playing time, so unless we're getting someone better than those two, it wouldn't matter. We definitely need a receiver, especially now that we're more pass heavy. This rebuild is fucking difficult, dude. We only have 6 mil to work with. I mean, we might as well spend the money on something, so we are gonna go for Taron Johnson, I guess. I don't feel amazing about that, but we need somebody there, so Taron Johnson, do you want to sign? Apparently not. Okay, he does. So we'll take that at the very least, but we're gonna have some issues in the draft. So now, let's get to the draft. But here in the draft, we pick at number 13 once again. Well, I think we were at 12 last year, but close enough. The Cardinals have the first pick here, and there goes Dak Wilson, someone I was looking at. So the Jets now have Zach Wilson and Dak Wilson. That's cool. I don't know if they still have Zach Wilson, but I'm assuming they do here. Ooh, Keenan McAllister looks good. I mean, he's definitely more of a 3-4 defensive end, but he looks pretty good. Matt Fisher looks pretty good. A finesse moves, good speed, not great strength though. He does have A awareness. He also has F injury though. Yeah, that's a normal dev waiting to happen. How about Tyreek McCoon? What an interesting last name. He has pretty good ratings, has better injury. He also has good traits. I'm liking him. He looks pretty good. There is also Corin Broughton. A power moves, A tackle, potentially A pursuit. Really good speed, good strength. What's our scheme? Do we use more? I would assume it's more power rusher heavy, but I can't remember. Okay, yeah, it looks like it. So I think the move is definitely to go for a power rusher over a speed rusher. I just don't like picking edges because when I do, they almost always have normal dev, even if I don't think they will. Emmanuel Jones also looks good, but I definitely think Corin Broughton is better. I wish he wasn't 23 years old, and I wish he had slightly better play rec and awareness, but he looks pretty good, so let's go with Corin Broughton here. Thank God, he has hidden dev. Okay, we're good. 82 speed, 85 strength, 88 excel. I don't know if he was necessarily the best one here. I kind of think I think Matt Fisher and Tyreek McCoon might have been a higher overall, but the guy we took obviously works better for our scheme, so I'm cool with it. And now in the second round, I want to look at receiver, and there are some guys who I didn't think would still be available. I didn't even look at these guys really. Trevor Rushing looks pretty good. Adrian Baxter looks pretty good. David Pearman was one of the ones I focus scouted. I think he might be the only guy left that I did focus scout. No, there's Ben Ware, but he didn't look quite as good. There's also Derek Gates, who I kind of thought I focus scouted, but apparently not. He looks really good too, and he's a scheme fit. I don't know, Pearman might be better. He's not as good of a route runner though, but he's a physical guy with 4.35 speed. I mean, this is almost DK Metcalf right here. Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison for this guy, honestly. Also, how do you have A catching? I've always hated this. How do you have A catching, but you have the needs to work on simple concentration drops trait? Isn't catching just straight up like the ability to not drop the ball, or do I just not have a good understanding of what that is? I don't know. Gates might be better, but I think David Pearman is more interesting, so let's go with David Pearman out of Michigan. Hidden dev, 93 speed, 75 strength, only 89 excel, but 91 agility, change of direction, and jumping. I like that pick. And now in the third round, I mean, those were our two needs. We still maybe need linebacker, but I don't think we're getting anyone here that would get any playing time, really. Unless Daryl Horn is good, but I don't really have him scouted. He might be, though. He has A play rec, A pursuit. We'll think about that. Justin Burnett looks pretty good, and Antonio Parnell. We don't really need defensive tackle, though. Matthew Gordon also looks all right. He has good strength, but that's about it. I wonder if one of those receivers are still available. Might as well double dip. That is like our biggest need, arguably. Yeah, okay, Ben Ware is still available. He's interesting. He's kind of similar to the last guy we took in the sense that he's like a big-bodied dude who's also like good after the catch. He's not as fast, though. He's not super slow. I mean, his combine 40 time wasn't great, but his pro day 40 time was pretty good. He has elite jumping, good excel, great strength. Yeah, we'll take a chance on another receiver. I don't think he'll have hidden dev, but I think he'll be a decent overall, so let's take him here. Yeah, normal dev, 89 speed, 95 jumping. Interesting pick. He kind of reminds me of Michael Thomas, actually, because he had good short route, too. Well, there's our Michael Thomas replacement. Oh my god, how many third-round picks do we have? We almost have back-to-back-to-back-to-back, but just the fourth one is spaced out by one. But this will probably be the last pick I'll take here. I don't even know if I care enough to show this one. Is Manny Belton good? He has good man coverage. I don't know. He looks fine. We might take him. Clyde Dawson. Now, if that isn't a 1940s ass name, then I don't know what is. But we'll go with Manny Belton. I mean, he looks solid. Sure, why not? Normal dev, unfortunately. I think he'll be a decent overall, so I'm happy with it. But now I will see y'all for the draft recap. Okay, this was once again pretty solid draft. We haven't really drafted like a true monster. At least day one. I mean, we drafted an X-Factor QB, to be fair, and a superstar safety, but, you know, I rarely have an opportunity to draft like the 80+ overalls or anything. I guess there were only two in this draft, and they were both at number 2 and number 4, so I didn't even get a chance, but Broughton, I think, was actually our best option at defensive end. Durham might have been better, depending on his dev trait, but, I mean, he got picked before we got the opportunity to pick, so that's tough. Oh, he is superstar dev. Also, wait, is he going to be a 3-4 defense defensive end at 270 pounds. All right, sure. Also, Broughton's better than Dak Wilson, who I was disappointed about not getting. Emmanuel Jones and Tyreek McCoon are only 73 overalls, so yeah, we got the best defensive end. Ooh, there was a really good guard available, 78 overall. But I'm definitely happy with that first pick. I mean, that was the best guy we could have gotten at that position. And then David Pearman's a 74. I low-key thought he would be a higher overall. I'm just glad he has a dev trait, though. Probably just star, but still better than nothing. And then Ben Ware, he's interesting. He's also lower than I thought he would be. He's still good, though, but he would be a good overall at running back or tight end. He's a 75 at each position, so we might move him to one of those because he would be like our 6th receiver, 5th probably. So we'll think about that. Maybe at tight end. And then Manny Belton's decent, 72 overall. Of course, no dev trait. Gerald Fort, this safety right here, he is a 73 overall with hidden. I did take Daryl Horn. He's a 75. Unfortunately, no dev trait, but still good. And then I took these 3 picks were my last 3. Justin Burnett, he has hidden dev, 71 overall. We'll take that. Miguel Manuel isn't great. And then William Oglesby, he's interesting because he was really fast. He ran like a 4.68 or something. He was a defensive tackle to begin with, but he's only a 65 defensive end. I always like to take a chance on those like undersized defensive tackles that are like super fast. But I mean, this was a really good draft. We had 7 players over a 70 overall. And this is with just the default draft classes, obviously, because those are my favorite to use. But anyways, let's get into year number 4 of the rebuild, potentially the final year, and we'll see what the team's looking like. Okay, well, here we are heading into year number 4 of the rebuild. The team isn't great. We're only an 81 overall, but we have a lot of upside at the very least. We're just definitely lacking superstar talent now because we've been broke. So I don't know. But I mean, again, still our entire offensive line is very young. Ferguson's really young. Metcalf is really young. Olave's still young. Pierman, obviously a rookie, is very young and he has a dev trait. So that should be development from all of those guys. And yeah, I did move Ware to tight end because he would have been like our 6th guy. Because we got Marvin Mims just out of free agency. He was just sitting there. He's still only, what, 24 with star dev? That's a no-brainer. I mean, he could maybe start for us over Rashid Shaheed because Shaheed's older now. He's like 28. Plus, I dislike him because he wears the number 22 at receiver. I mean, I don't actually not like him, but it's still gross to look at. So we might put Marvin Mims over him. It just makes sense for the team. And then on defense, we're also looking good here. Our defense is really deep, but again, we're just lacking like that superstar talent. Like we have Carl Granderson as a backup, Isaiah Foskey as a backup, we have Keys as a backup at a 75, we have a star dev defensive tackle, or hidden, and then a star dev defensive tackle as backups. We have a hidden dev 75 overall safety as a backup. Like this is a super deep defense, but really our only stud left is Marshawn Lattimore and I guess Tyrann Mathieu if you want to consider him one. Still. But of course it is still a really young defense for the most part, so we'll see if we can develop it. But now let's just get straight to the end of year number 4 and hopefully we don't completely suck, but we will likely be on to a year 5. This is definitely the hardest rebuild in the game. Maybe the Browns are harder, but at least the Browns have like super good players that aren't 35 years old. This one's hard. Okay, well, just kidding. Here we are at the midseason point of year number 4. I decided I should probably, show us re-signing players just in case we do have to go to a year 5, but we're 4-3 here. We're not doing too bad at all. I would actually bet that we're doing well because we are having to pay these players, and once we do pay them, we might not do as well, but we're gonna pay them anyways, just in case we don't make the playoffs. But Marshawn Lattimore will offer him, I guess, 2 years, 39 mil. He resigns. Chris Olave isn't interested, unfortunately, but 6 years, 120 mil. He resigns. Ryan Ramczyk, 3 years, 65 mil. That's pretty expensive, but he resigns. Our money's going away quick. And Tyrann Mathieu's probably going to regress, so we'll just wait to resign him if we do at all. And then Brian Brzee, how's he doing this year? He's doing all right. Was definitely better last year, though. He's just not getting as much playing time this year, but he's good depth. 2 years, 12 mil if he takes that, and he does. That's not too bad, so I think we're good here now. So let's get to the end of year number 4. We're 4-3 now, and we will see how this team can finish. Can't wait to choke and finish 8-9 again. Oh my god. Okay, we have upgrades. That's cool and all. I called it. We choked and finished 8-9 because we paid the players there. God, dude. What the fuck? I don't know what to do. I feel like I can't win in this rebuild. Peter Metcalf, 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 11 picks. He was good. We'll go through the stats quick. Kamara, almost 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4.5. Ooh, 4.5 per carry. Ferguson, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Pierman, 950-ish yards, 11 touchdowns. Can't wait for him to get number 2 for Offensive Rookie of the Year and just barely miss it. That's going to be catastrophic to my mental health. The blocking was kind of ass, low-key. Really, the only one I can say did well was Gavin Baldwin. On defense, Pete Werner led the team with 141 tackles, 114 from Teron Johnson. Must have been getting cooked in coverage. Also, Diggy Zua led the team with 14 tackles for loss. Oh, God. 13 for Ogba, 12 for Burnett, and sacks 4.5 from Emmanuel Ogba led the team, 4 for Broughton. Okay, we need a new defensive playbook again. Interceptions, 3 for Lattimore, 2 for Johnson and McKinney, and then 1 for a few players. Yeah, we need a new defensive playbook. The Bills ain't cutting it here. I mean, it's amazing for them. Apparently not for us, though. Maybe the Lions, but aren't they listed as like a 3-4 in this game? I don't know. Oh, God. MVP goes to Dak Prescott. Get me out of here. I'm done with this rebuild. Do I even want to do another year? I mean, I should, or else people are going to get mad at me in the comments like, oh, you didn't even make the playoffs. What the fuck? This is a hard rebuild, dude. I don't even know if an extra year is going to matter, but I guess we'll see. But Dak wins Offensive Player of the Year. I hate it here. Kamara at number 8. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons, as it has been every year. Offensive Rookie of the Year does go to David Pierman, thankfully. Ben Ware at number 10. Ben 10 out here. Jeremy Stuckey. Isn't that the name of like an actual NFL player? No, I'm thinking of Jeremy Shockey, but close enough. He wins it for the Rams. I think they had Offensive Rookie of the Year last year too. And then Broughton at 9, Burnett at 10. Broughton fucking sucked, dude. He was awful. So we still need a pass rush. We still haven't been able to figure it out there. But Pierman already has superstar dev, so he could maybe even go up to X Factor. We'll see. And then what other hidden devs did we have? We had Broughton, it's only star, unfortunately. We had Fort, it's not revealed. Burnett was just star, but at least we had one superstar. I mean, it's better than it could have been, I guess. But here in the Super Bowl, the Cowboys, of course, win it 28-14 over the Bengals. I'm sick of looking at the Cowboys, dude. They just dominate every rebuild I do. I'm sick of them. I don't want to see it anymore. But we have a couple upgrades for Pierman. It doesn't look like he did get X Factor, unfortunately, or maybe. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't show the symbol up there. No, he didn't, but at least he had a couple upgrades. I wish it was a couple more upgrades, but I guess we'll take it either way because we have to. It's not like I have a choice. I wonder if we did get any dev ups. Maybe, I don't know, did anyone even do well on this team? I guess our QB did, but he already has X Factor. Oh, Ferguson got superstar. That makes sense. And okay, no, Pete Werner didn't, but Drummond did. Oh, and Fort has superstar. So now we have 2 superstar safeties. Do we want to re-sign Tyrann? I mean, he hasn't been getting that many picks, honestly. We might just give it to Fort. We might just give him the starting job and hope he can develop, or we might sign a different safety. We'll see. So we're not going to re-sign him, I don't think. We could in free agency if I want to, but we're not going to re-sign him here. I guess we'll pick up the 5th year for Metcalf. I mean, it doesn't matter. This is the last year anyways, but I guess. How was Teron Johnson, though? 2 picks, 7 pass deflections, a lot of tackles. I'm surprised he didn't get a dev trait just because of the stats he had, but we might look to upgrade there. We'll just let him go. Again, we might sign him in free agency, might not. I don't know. And I guess we'll re-sign Jake Camarda just because. So now, let's get into free agency and let's finally really try to spend some money. We'll even restructure some of the contracts we got, so we will have a lot of money. Okay, well, God, in free agency, there are some decent players here, but there isn't anybody too crazy, especially at positions we need. I mean, the best player is Ronnie Stanley, and we do kinda need left tackle, but I don't know if we can get him. We're competing with the Falcons and Titans, and the Falcons are busted in this game for some reason, so he'll probably want to sign there because they actually do well. But I never freed up money. Let me free up a little more money. But we are playing the 3rd round pick game here for some reason. And we've done well in the third round, to be fair, so it's kind of a good strategy. But the Bears don't have Montez Sweat in this world yet, so we're going to give them Carl Granderson because they have like AJ Epinesa at a 77 and then their other starter is like a 69 overall. So that's definitely an upgrade for them there. Hey, the Browns finally, they finally have some cap space somehow. So we're going to fuck that up a little bit and we're going to trade him Emmanuel Ogbah for, you guessed it, another third round pick. I think he was drafted by the Browns. Let me see. I don't think he was ever good there. Yeah, he was a second round pick. He was almost a first round pick. He basically was. He was round 2, pick 32. So some team must have lost a first round pick that year. Was that the year the Patriots lost their first round pick because of Deflategate? So he was basically a first round pick for the Browns. You know, it's probably worth it. I mean, for the Dolphins at least, he's been good for them. Not so much this year in real life, but he was good there like 1 year. But anyways, we're getting a third round pick for him and we're sending him back to his original team. But now we should have a little more money, of course. Oh, MVP Dak Prescott is here. And Deshaun Watson and Geno Smith, Will Levis, who played like a monster. People called me crazy for liking him a lot as a prospect, but I mean, I thought he would take time to develop. I didn't think he would look great in his first game, but he did look really good. What an elite free agent QB class, though. Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones. Good lord. Wow, Puka Nacua has not developed at all. He's still only an 80 with normal dev. He wouldn't be a bad pickup, though, here. All right, well, let me look and I'll see what we can do. Okay, well, here is what we're doing in free agency. We're going for pretty much like the best players available. We're going to go for Ronnie Stanley. And to be honest, we only have a for sure lead here for 4 of these guys. We're tied for the lead for Ronnie Stanley, Austin Eckler, and Michael Gallup. And I would bet with my luck in free agency, we'll probably only get one of those guys, if one at all. But we're really banking on the fact that we can get those guys. So it's not great, but I don't know. It's not like we really have another option at those positions here, so it is what it is. But yeah, Ronnie Stanley, Austin Eckler, DeMarcus Lawrence, who is good in this game, but so is Emmanuel Ogbah, except when we use him apparently. Michael Gallup, Kyle Duggar, Rasul Douglas, and Leonard Williams. New Seahawk Leonard Williams. Still don't know how I feel about that trade, but to be fair, I didn't like the Christian McCaffrey trade when it happened, because I just thought he would get hurt immediately, but that didn't happen, so I'm not the best judge of midseason trades sometimes. But let's see if we can sign any of these players right off the bat. Oh my god, almost everybody. Okay, so we do not get Ronnie Stanley, but we get Austin Eckler, DeMarcus Lawrence, Michael Gallup, Kyle Duggar, and Rasul Douglas. Ronnie Stanley goes to the Falcons. So does Dak Prescott. Oh god. Super glad both of them went to a division rival. But we no longer have a lead for Leonard Williams, and to be honest, if he didn't accept our offer there, he's not going to accept it at all, so I don't know what we're going to do there. I guess Aleem McNeil wouldn't be bad. He's just a lot more expensive, but it's what we got. Oh, nope, the Falcons are cucking us again. Where did they get so much money? All right, well, Zach Sealer? At this point, I don't... Oh, the Cowboys are super interested. Okay, I guess we're not getting a defensive tackle, but that's fine. We might as well try for Leonard Williams, but I know it's not going to happen. And you know what? I think Trent Brown is normally pretty good in this game, right? Nope. Okay, we're not doing that. He was good at one point. Apparently not anymore. Thayer Munford good? I mean, I don't know if he would be great to play at left tackle. He was really good 1 year, but I don't know. All right, we'll just go for Leonard Williams, and he doesn't sign. Shocker. But now, let's get to the draft, and we might make a trade here. We'll see. Okay, well, we're making a trade here. We are going to be sending Gavin Baldwin, who's been pretty good, but, I mean, he was just a necessary part of this trade. We can find a new right guard. We're also sending a first-round pick and a third-round pick, the more important parts of this trade, for Max Crosby. You know, he had the most sacks in the NFL this year. Pass rush has been our biggest problem. Our O-line has kind of been a problem. Well, it hasn't been too big of a problem, honestly, but it might be now. But our pass rush has been a bigger problem, so this is kind of a necessary trade. Apparently, they won't trade him in real life, which is probably a good idea, but the Raiders should definitely think about trading Davante Adams. Not just think about it, they should free him. I feel bad for him. But now, let's see what we can do in the draft. Of course, no more first-round pick, but that's fine. But of course, in the draft, no first-round pick, like I said. said, the Bears pick at number 1 overall, which very well could happen in real life this year. I mean, they have 2 projected top 5 picks. But what do we want to do here? Ooh, Deshaun Jones. I wasn't initially gonna like take a corner, but this guy looks pretty good. A-zone coverage. He has good enough speed, pretty good strength. He looks good, but I don't know if he'll start. Who will for sure start is pretty much any guard we take here. We desperately need a guard. Dave House looks all right. His run block, finesse, and power look terrible though. Brady Layman looks solid. I don't know, none of these guards look that good. Paul Henson looks good, but he doesn't have very good awareness or power. Does have good strength though. He might be the best one. And Daryl Walters looks pretty good. He has great strength, pretty decent looking ratings. I think we'll just go with Layman first though. I think we might take multiple. He looks the best, I would say. Only good strength, which isn't like great, obviously. I mean, it's good, but he is quick too. He's one of the fastest guards in the class. Let's take him. Hidden Dev, 87 strength, good speed, good excel. We'll take it. And unless that corner's still here, I might go with another guard right here. But is that corner still available? No. I'm a little disappointed about that, honestly. He looked pretty good, but oh well. Ooh, Dylan Allen skipped the combine. That's interesting. He must have gotten hurt because he also skipped his pro day. A press, B zone, B tackle. This dude looks interesting. He only has solid speed and strength though. His physical tools aren't that good, but I'm intrigued. We might take him like mid-third. But here, I guess we'll go with, ooh, Kurt LaRubio has pretty good strength. Let's go with Quinston Glenn though. I hate that name, Quinston. Is there anyone alive named Quinston? Like who adds an S there? I don't know, but probably the second to last pick I'll show for this rebuild. Let's go with Quinston Glenn out of Michigan State. Another hidden dev just in case the first guy we got wasn't super good. We'll take that. And now let's go with the dude who skipped the combine who will pretty much guaranteed have normal dev, but could be a good overall. Let's go with Dylan Allen out of East Carolina here. Okay, never mind. He has hidden. Did I say almost guaranteed he will have hidden? I meant to say almost guaranteed will have normal, but he has hidden. Maybe just if they skip the combine, it must be a lot higher of a chance that they'll have hidden. Only 83 agility, 88 excel at corner isn't great, but I didn't expect him to be an athlete. I expected him to have good press and zone coverage, so we'll see what his overall is. So now let's get to the end of the draft and we will see how we are looking heading into year number 4. Nope, year number 5. I know what year it is. Smile. Okay, well, low-key kind of a disappointing draft, I'm not gonna lie. Brady Layman is only a 71. I thought he would be better than that for sure. And Quinston Glenn is only a 73. We might not have even taken the best guard that was available. Let me see. No, we didn't. Paul Henson is a little better out of 75. He also has hidden. He probably has superstar or some stupid shit. Let me see. No, he just has star. Okay. Well, either way, it's close enough. That's fine. Dylan Allen also, unfortunately, is only a 68. I don't know how. He has 80 press, 78 zone or 74 zone coverage. Just his man coverage sucks, but doesn't matter. He's a backup anyways. We also drafted a QB. He looks decent, which speaking of QBs, the Cardinals traded Josh Dobbs to the Vikings, so I guess they're giving up on him, which I don't really get. I mean, he's fine. He's like a decent QB, but I guess he'll be their starter for the rest of the year. He might be decent. But anyways, we had an alright draft, and let's get a look at the team heading into the 5th and final year of the rebuild. No matter what happens, this is the final year. But here's a look at the team heading into the 5th and for sure final year of the rebuild. Our offense is looking really good. We're at an 87 overall, and it should develop, of course, throughout the year. Still a very young offense overall, just a few older players like McCoy, Ramczyk, and then I guess our running backs, which is probably a position you don't want to be old at, but oh well. And then the defense, also looking good. Only an 83 overall, but it's better on paper than the overall says. Like, we have Max Crosby, Marshawn Lattimore, Kyle Duggar now, Pete Werner's looking good. We have a few younger players with good dev traits, so I'm really liking how the team is looking. But now, let's get to the end of year number 5, and we'll see what the team does in simulation. I'm scared to see, though, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, well, here we are at the end of year number 5, and of course, if you've seen one of my videos before, y'all know why we're here. If you haven't already and you've made it all the way here, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and again, clearly you've enjoyed it if you've made it all the way here. So, you know, it's free and it's super easy to do, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean to beg, but, you know, if we hit just 500 likes on this video, I'll do another realistic rebuild because it'll show me that y'all want to see another one. And of course, once we hit 25,000 subscribers, I have something very special planned, but but in year number 5, we finished 10-7, making the playoffs. This still definitely isn't the best roster in the world, but it is definitely good enough to make the playoffs, so I'm glad we did. Now up to an 86 overall, so we are pretty good. But actually, something interesting I want to point out is as a backup, not even on the depth chart anywhere, Dylan Allen has gone up to a 74, I think he is, now a 75 with morale. So I think he has a good dev trait. It might even be X Factor. He's developed a lot. It's at least superstar for sure, but oh, just kidding. How has he gone up 6 overall with 150 snaps played? I don't understand, but is he must just be getting a ton of practice time. I don't know. That's interesting though. I thought for sure he had at least superstar. But anyways, Peter Metcalf was solid, 4,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, 9 picks. I wish he had more touchdowns, but I won't complain. It was a good year. Austin Eckler wasn't great, only 3.9 yards per carry, 10 touchdowns, not even 1,000 yards. David Pearman was amazing, 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. Ferguson with 900 yards, not much outside of those two. I mean, decent receiving seasons, but nothing crazy. Our blocking was terrible. Chapman allowed 14 sacks, Ramczyk allowed 12. Has he allowed 12 total in his career? I don't know. No, he probably has, but still, it's weird. Austin Thomas allowed 8, Eric McCoy allowed 6. Lehman was really our only good lineman. We might start Glenn over Thomas, because Thomas was ass. Werner led the team with 139 tackles, though. Tackles for loss, 20 from Lawrence and Crosby, 12 from Odigizua. And finally, we fix our pass rush, 20 sacks from Max Crosby, 11 for Lawrence. Absolutely zero pressure outside of those two, but hey, I definitely won't complain. And then interceptions, 4 for Duggar, 3 for Lattimore, 2 for Drummond, Adebo, Werner, and McKinney, and then 1 for Azul Douglas. So our defense kind of carried this year. Our offensive line just entirely held us back on offense, though. But yearly awards, MVP goes to finally not Dak Prescott. It goes to Patrick Mahomes. But the Cowboys signed Deshaun Watson. He goes back to Texas, and he's up at number 4 for MVP. That's fun. Offensive Player of the Year goes to division rival Bijan Robinson. No Saints. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. Max Crosby at number 2. Rashawn Gary at number 5. I think Micah Parsons swept Defensive Player of the Year here, so that's fun. Love the diversity. Rashad Rich won Offensive Rookie of the Year on the Bears. No Saints. And Defensive Rookie of the Year went to division rival Josh Callaway on the Panthers. No Saints. I don't even know if we would have had anyone really. But now we are going to be taking on another division rival here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 11-6 in the wild card. But we have a first of many scenario here, probably our last, or I guess our first of one, not necessarily first of many. But we will go play it cool. Y'all know me. No risk, no reward. That's fine. And let's see if we can somehow pull off a win against the Buccaneers. Probably not. Just kidding, we do. We win 34-24. I feel like we win playoff games we shouldn't win. I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't have won that game because we were like the same overall. I think we even had 1 overall on them. I think we were in 85 and we're in 86. Or they were in 85, we are in 86. But, you know, they had the home game, but we'll take a win. We were technically better. But now, we definitely don't deserve to win this game against the 13-4 San Francisco 49ers at an 88 overall. But we will take the sweet and juicy staff points, please and thank you. And now, I mean, there's nothing left for us to do except say goodbye to our rebuild. Let's take on the 49ers. And yeah, we absolutely get smoked, which is probably fair. It maybe should have been closer than 42-24, but we didn't deserve to win that game. But that is, of course, going to be the end of what is definitely the hardest team to rebuild in this game. I can confidently say that. Maybe the Browns are better, but again, at least they have some good, not super old players on the team. Because really, for Saints players, we have Lattimore, Adebo, Brazee, and Werner left, and that's it, I think. And on offense, we have McCoy, Ramczyk, and Olave, and I guess Alvin Kamara, and that's it. So we've definitely had to do some things to this roster, but we definitely made it pretty good. So again, if y'all enjoyed, 500 likes for another realistic rebuild, 25,000 subscribers, and I will do something very special that I think y'all will really enjoy. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what team to do next for a shout out if I pick your comment. And with that, I'll see y'all again in the next video. Goodbye.